Flames need to take advantage of Kadri's good year. Move him when the value is high. And Anderson, it won't matter how good Wolf. Flames will get a top 10 pick, leave Hoobs, Coleman, Captain, and Weeks. Well, there's been a lot said about Nazem Kadri, and this isn't really the forum to discuss that, but we can a little bit. 4 years left, $7 million a year. Scored 35 goals this past season. If he were available, I'm sure teams would covet that player. I find it funny talking to some of my friends in Toronto who talk simultaneously about how Kadri would be exactly what the Leafs need, but then they bemoan his contract at the same time. It's not a bad contract. He's making $7 million in a league where Brad Marchand's being paid until he's 44 years old. Nazem Kadri being paid until he's 38 is not a problem. But I do think there's a chance they move Rasmus Anderson, although by all indications, it's not going to happen right away. It sure doesn't seem that way. It doesn't feel that way, although you never know, but just there's not a whole lot of noise right now. Pike, I don't think they're going to trade Nazem Kadri, and I don't think there's any serious movement behind that. As differently as I might feel about it, in isolation, the optics of a team that is clearly doing different things from a youth movement perspective, trading a 34, soon to be 35-year-old center makes sense. By the same token, it's not even something that I'm devoting any brain power to, because it's not going to happen.
You sure did talk a long time about something that's not happening.
Okay.
Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman on 32 Thoughts had a very nice segment on the latest podcast. Go check it out if you haven't checked it out. He mentioned basically he had to devote way too much of his life to debunking trade rumors that from radio hits he didn't do and things he didn't say. So don't make up quotes and attribute them to people, because that's mean and a big jerk thing to do, you jerks. But folks here are jerks. You guys are nice.
That's right.
Never do that.
That's right.
But also just the idea of Nazem Kadri, the Flames are very happy with Nazem Kadri. Nazem Kadri signed in Calgary because he wanted to play in Calgary. He has, from my understanding, is he's got family here. He likes the area.
Yeah, lots of family.
Yeah, so he's everyone's motivated by different things, and Nazem Kadri has a championship. He has made a crap ton of money in the NHL, and I think he's been through the meat grinder that is being a Ontario kid playing for the Leafs. And I don't necessarily know if he's in any hurry to go back there, but he's going to be a Calgary Flame until he doesn't want to be. Until the day that Nazem Kadri picks up the phone to his agent and goes,
"Get me out of here."
Tell Craig I want to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
The Flames, we just talked about a draft where they drafted their centers in their first 3 picks. And the reason for that is the Flames have 2 holdover natural centers who are averaging an age of 34 or 35. So until they have enough guys that you can move a Kadri or have a Backlund retire and not feel like there are absolutely no centers to play on the NHL team, I don't know why you'd be in any hurry to move Nazem Kadri. You need, Morgan Frost is relatively still very young as an NHLer, fairly still establishing himself, and could probably benefit from the mentorship of a Nazem Kadri or a Michael Backlund. Same with Sam Morton. Justin Kirkland is potentially going to be playing his first full NHL season. You probably would like to have some guys to sort of insulate him a bit, and so on and so forth. So from a hockey side, from a personal side, from a business side, from every angle you can look at this as, I don't think they're moving him anytime soon.
I think there are different factions of folks in this market who simultaneously undersell and oversell the possibility of the Flames being a disaster this season. I think
Isn't this the exact same thing we heard a year ago, though?
It is, but I think...
So how is this any different?
Well, that's what I say. That I think there's folks who simultaneously undersell and oversell it. I think there is a chance they are disaster. I think there is a chance they are just as good as they were. I think the range of outcomes for this Flames team is quite large. If they are a disaster by Christmas, I could see it. But even then, I mean, what constitutes a disaster in this market anymore? It's sort of hard to define, because we haven't seen the Flames truly bottom out for 12 years or 11 years, I guess, at this point. More like 9, I guess, since 2016. But there were a lot of things that went right last year. There were a lot of things that didn't go right. The Flames couldn't score to save their lives. They had two guys who were scoring at any consistency, and Coronado and Kadri, and that was pretty much it. Huberdeau had some crazy hot streaks. He had some times where he looked like the same old Jonathan Huberdeau. Beyond that, the depth is still very much untested. On defense, there's a lot of question marks. If Zane Parekh isn't as good as we all think he will be, it's going to be interesting. If Anderson is gone and Parekh is like that, then it's going to be interesting.
Went into last season with two actual NHL defensemen and a bunch of projects.
Kevin Ball was
they still ended up being one of the stingiest defensive teams in the league.
I grant you that. Although I think Kevin Ball was always more of
Kevin
a guy.
Ball had played 1 year in the NHL.
He was a good player. I mean, I think Braden Pahal is
Braden Pahal hadn't played a full season until
I think now Braden Pahal is kind of similar to what Kevin Ball was a year ago. But nevertheless, it's just, I think with Kadri, you're right. It all comes down to him. And if things are completely off the rails, if it starts to look totally toxic, whatnot, but we haven't really seen that a whole lot here in Calgary. And I think everything's off the table if it gets to that point, because the last time truly that we saw anything like this was in Daryl's last year here.
I remember.
Yeah, but
I was there.
But that was different because everybody had just committed. Huberdeau had signed his deal 4 months earlier. Kadri had signed his deal 4 months earlier, and there was nothing that was going to happen. So we don't really have the precedent for it recently in this exact sort of situation to know how the Flames are going to approach this. It is all very hypothetical, and that's pretty much all we can say.
Hey buddies, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.